This court will sentence you to life in Florida State Prison and with credit for 1,732 days already served.
Jose Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, aka XXX Tentacion, was tragically shot and killed on June 18, 2018. The incident took place in Deerfield Beach, Florida, when XXX Tentacion was leaving a motorcycle dealership. Video pulled from a surveillance camera shows two armed men who approached his vehicle, robbed him of a Louis Vuitton bag containing $50,000, and fatally shot him. Four men were charged in connection with XXX Tentacion's murder. Michael Boatwright, accused of being the primary shooter. Dedrick Williams, allegedly the getaway driver and a key organizer of the robbery. Trayvon Newsom, believed to be the second gunman. Robert Allen, initially a suspect, but he later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for testimony against the other defendants.
Trayvon Newsom, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree with a firearm and robbery with a deadly weapon, I will sentence you to life in Florida State Prison with a 10-year minimum mandatory and credit for 1,704 days already served. The two sentences will run concurrent with each other. Williams, you are the perfect example of why we have a law of principles in this state. When you engage in criminal acts with others, you bear the responsibility for your collective actions. It was you who picked the target in this case. Now, while you may not have left the vehicle and you may not have brandished a firearm or fired the fatal shots, you are as guilty as they are. Dedrick Williams, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of murder in the first degree and robbery with a firearm as a principal. As to count one, this court will find you guilty, adjudicate you to be guilty, sentence you to life in Florida State Prison. Mr. Boatwright, you turned a robbery into a murder. And on that day, when you stood there and fired that weapon, you didn't just end one life. You effectively ended 5 lives, including your own. You need to understand that when we say life in Florida State Prison, that means life.
Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, and Trayvon Newsom were all found guilty of first-degree murder and armed robbery. All 3 men received life sentences without the possibility of parole. David Parga was charged with killing Marlon Robinson during a 2006 robbery attempt. He was apprehended based on evidence, including witness statements and forensic findings. The trial featured witness testimonies and evidence from both sides. Parga was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, along with additional sentences for related charges.
I know there's nothing I could do to bring you guys' son back, brother back, but I am deeply sorry for what happened to him.
Turning in his chair to face the family of the Cal State Fullerton student that he murdered, David Parga apologized to Leland Washington's mother, father, sister, and brother.
There's days that the grief is so much that I just kind of muddle through the day. You have to understand who he was. He was such a great person, and the way that he died, he did not deserve that at all.
The 27-year-old Orange County man was shot to death by the gangster outside of a Halloween party in La Habra for no reason. It's taken 8 years, but the judge says the person responsible is headed to prison for a long, long time.
Halloween weekend will never be the same for us. My brother was murdered that weekend, and it's ironic that we're here today.
To you specifically, I want to say sorry to what happened to your son. I know the pain you're feeling. My mom comes to see me, she cries because what's happening to me, and I could only imagine what you're going through. You lost your son.
On August 7, 2011, Sharon Staples, a pregnant mother, was fatally shot by 16-year-old Mikal Thomas during a robbery in Milwaukee. Thomas, who should have been under supervision, received 35 years in prison, while 15-year-old Malik Merchant got 17 years. The crime and system failure shocked the community.
Don't do
On October 24, 2014, Luis Bracamontes went on a shooting spree that resulted in the deaths of Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Danny Oliver and Placer County Sheriff's Detective Michael Davis Jr. Bracamontes also wounded a civilian and another officer during the rampage. After a series of carjackings and a standoff, Bracamontes was apprehended and taken into custody.
Be silent. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please step out of the hallway.
They're fucking dead. I don't fucking regret that shit. All they say that fucking regret is that fucking kill too. I wish I fucking killed more of those motherfuckers. Pocket.
We asked the camera to be turned off. I think the order was made through.
I will break up soon and I will kill more. And whoever fucking get in front of me. Just like that.
Bracamontes frequently disrupted the courtroom proceedings with outbursts, profanities, and racial slurs. Despite initially pleading not guilty, Bracamontes admitted to the killings during the trial.
Madam Clerk, please read the verdict.
Superior Court of California, County of Sacramento, the people of the state of California, plaintiff versus Luis Enriquez Monroy Bracamontes, defendant. Case number 14F07390, Department 21, verdict count 1. Regarding the charge in count 1, Luis Enriquez Monroy Bracamontes did unlawfully and with malice aforethought commit murder in the first degree of Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Oliver. We find the defendant guilty. We further find the allegation that the defendant used and intentionally and personally discharged a firearm, to wit, a 9mm handgun, and thereby approximately caused the death to be true. Special circumstance number 1.
On February 9, 2018, Bracamontes was found guilty on all counts, including the first-degree murders of the two deputies.
Sitting in a white sweatshirt, smile on his face, Luis Bracamontes learned the jury's recommendation for sentencing today.
The penalty to be imposed upon Luis Enriquez Monroy Bracamontes is death.
The jury found Bracamontes, convicted of murdering Sacramento Sheriff's Deputy Danny Oliver and Placer County Sheriff's Detective Mike Davis during a 2014 crime spree, should be put to death.
There was nothing we could find that justified in any way any other outcome than what we came up with.
Juror number 3, Sam Wood, said there was some initial disagreement about whether Bracamontes should get the death penalty, but the facts of the case were clear.
We did work at it, and there was some, talking back and forth about, some of the facts and things of that sort.
Sheriff Scott Jones attended today's hearing and said the jury's decision is another step towards justice.
There's still some journey left, and true justice won't come until the imposition of that sentence that he earned, but certainly this is a continuing step along the right path.
Bracamontes' wife, Janelle Monroy, was also found guilty in the deaths of Oliver and Davis. She was sentenced to nearly 50 years in prison. In Sacramento, Max Resnick, KCRA 3 News.
The jury recommended the death penalty, which was formalized by the judge on March 27, 2018. During sentencing, Bracamontes remained unrepentant and continued his tirades. In 2015, the 16-year-old Tariq Jackson opened fire when a fight broke out between two Ypsilanti gangs. Jackson was apprehended by law enforcement shortly after the incident, based on witness statements, forensic evidence, or other investigative leads. Jackson faced charges of first-degree murder, along with potential additional charges such as possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, assault, or other related offenses.
First off, I just want to say sorry to the family of the victim. I wish the situation would have played out like that. I never thought that my choices and decisions would have affected so many people. You know, no mother deserves to bury her son, and no mother deserves to see her son change. My bad choice led to a lose-lose situation for me, my family, and the family of the victim. I understand that Paul's mom won't get to hug her son again. I won't be able to hug mine for a while, and my mom won't be able to hug me for a while, so it's a sad situation. But in favor of my grandparents and my parents, I just want it to be known that, you know, my family didn't raise me to be a bad person, or that I'm not even that type of person. You know, the lifestyle that I chose to live put me in a situation that it was just played out negatively.
Our whole world was turned upside down from that point. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because that when our children make these decisions out here, they don't understand how it affects everybody. You changed our lives forever.
Eyewitness and expert testimonies influenced the jury's perception. After closing arguments, the jury deliberated and returned a verdict of either guilty or not guilty. If guilty, Jackson faced sentencing, possibly including life imprisonment or other severe penalties. Jeffrey Williams, known as Young Thug, faced serious charges related to gang activities, including violent crimes. His arrest followed a lengthy investigation involving surveillance, witness statements, and forensic evidence linking him to the alleged offenses.
Charges that he's facing.
Yeah, the RICO Act, the racketeering, is basically a group of people that work together, conspire together to form a criminal enterprise. And it got to be multiple people, and they've got to be doing multiple different things to make a racketeering charge. And this particular racketeering charge, according to the Fulton County prosecutor, was vast. In fact, they listed 180 plus different acts that they allege that Young Thug and his other co-defendants were taking part in, all part of the YSL, or Young Slime Life group that he has accused of being part of.
Jeffrey Williams faced multiple charges, including conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, murder, armed robbery, and other related offenses.
Criminal case of the state of Georgia versus Jeffrey Williams. The Fulton County Grand Jury has indicted the defendant Jeffrey Williams for the following crimes, which I will now read to you. Conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. Participation in criminal street gang activity. Participation in criminal street gang activity. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of a firearm or commission of a felony, and possession of a machine gun.
The defense aimed to raise doubt by challenging evidence, presenting alibis, and offering alternative explanations for Williams's alleged activities.
Okay, and I mean, I've said it, so let's act accordingly.
Ron.
Yes, sir.
If I can address the court briefly. I filed a supplement to the Mr. Kendrick's motion for a mistrial this morning. I just want to make sure the court's aware of it.
I am aware of it. I have not yet had a chance to look at it, but that's, got it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mostly I want to make sure I bring it to the court's attention because, again, and I've followed the request of the court to not argue what's already in the papers, but I just want to make sure that the court understands that based on this additional information that we learned about the July 7th meeting, that my client has been consistently denied his right to a fair tribunal. It's been a due process violation. I, like Mr. Shart, am extremely upset having read that transcript. Myself and my fellow outside agitators over here, I assume that they are upset as well.
Throughout the trial, the defense filed numerous motions, including efforts to suppress certain evidence and dismiss specific charges, arguing that the prosecution unfairly targeted Williams based on his music.
So Jeffrey wanted to have a performing name. So he looked to Tupac. you will learn that in 1983, the incomparable talent Michael Jackson released a song that went around the globe, P.Y.T., Pretty Young Thing. About 13 years later, Tupac is featured on a song with Smooth. And that song is P.Y.T., Playa, P-L-A-Y-A, Young Thugs. And on that song there's a repeat of words. And this really connected with Jeffrey. It's a black man that not too many understand. That's what Jeffrey felt about people with nice color skin. Jeffrey had interest in women, but he never considered himself a player. A player to Jeffrey was somebody who had the girls kind of coming at them at all times. Jeffrey wasn't like that. Jeffrey was shy. He was really tall and really skinny. He was malnourished. His teeth were rotten. There was no money to go to a dentist. And all the sugar from the candy that he ate to keep substance in his body rotted his teeth. So Jeffrey would speak by covering his teeth with his lips, or often speak like this, with his hand or his arm over his teeth, because he had low self-esteem. He was made fun of and bullied growing up.
They also claimed that the prosecution had misunderstood the stage name as Thug stands for Truly Humble Under God.
And I don't believe that this is performative outrage, Your Honor.
I mean, I don't either.
Okay.
I don't either. I already said I understand.
In July of 2023, after months of me complaining about late discovery from the state, which should have been produced in December of 2022, when another terabyte or so tranche of discovery was produced to us, I begged Chief Judge Glanville to put a hard deadline on the discovery being produced from the state. He refused to do so. And you know what Judge Glanville's response to me was when I will tell you. I will tell you what his response was. If this was a civil trial, I would keep this out.
As of the last update, the trial was ongoing with no verdict, and it was expected to be lengthy due to its complexity and multiple defendants.